To begin, you're going to say your name, how long you've been teaching here, and your job title, or what classes you teach, stuff like that. Oh my gosh. That's why they're doing their interviews separately.
Okay, so my name is Eric Jacobs. I teach health and physical education here at Princeton High School. This is year number 8 of my teaching career. 7 of the 8 have been in Princeton. 6 of the 8 at Princeton High School, 1 at Princeton Middle School, and 1 at Prairie Winds Middle School in Mankato, Minnesota.
Very nice, very good.
Who inspires me? Mr. Moe and Mr. Baxter are really inspiring, and all jokes aside, I believe that they do fun first, which is important. Education and teaching and learning are pretty serious things, but you can't take yourself too seriously in these types of jobs.
Absolutely.
That's important. But also, people like Mr. Labs, Ms. Muckenhern, all of the teachers here at Princeton High School, I think are awfully inspiring. And there's really good work that's done here, and that's a lot of credit to those people too.
Absolutely.
Favorite memory of Jake Gruba? One, I think I'm always going to remember the time that you interviewed me and Mr. Baxter threw a hanger at us.
That was very nice, yes.
I don't think I'll forget that anytime soon. But more seriously, I'll always remember your performances in the musicals, and specifically the most recent one I saw, I don't know if it was the last one that you did at Princeton High School, was The Addams Family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you were in one last fall, but I didn't happen to see that because I wasn't around for that. But that was a really, really good performance, and that's definitely not something I'm going to forget.
Yeah, very nice.
Do your homework, turn assignments in on time, avoid missing work, your grades start to count, and if you happen to not have a passing grade in a class, you get to do even extra school when you're in high school. So you could come in at night, or you could come in during the summer, and I always tell kids after school you should be doing things like going over to Quick Trip and buying a soda and a piece of pizza and driving around with your buddies, or doing a fun video project with some teachers, or you shouldn't have to go to the media center and do more school. So set yourself up to be able to do things like that, because there's a lot of things that go on in high school, and if you don't have passing grades, it makes it a lot harder to do all the fun stuff.
Absolutely.
I think as soon as we were able to have the amount of students that we have back in the building was a highlight. I had the fewest kids I've had in class is 1. I had a class of 1 that met once a week during first trimester, and so there's no way around it. That was super awkward. But it was all right. We learned a lot, and we got to know each other super well, and there's no better teacher to student ratio than 1-to-1, I guess. So. But coming from the health and phy ed world, I'm used to classes that are in the 30s and the 40s, and we're kind of slowly but surely making our way back to that. And even things like having more kids in the lunchroom is a great experience, and because those are all the things that are fun about high school that you find yourself missing the most, is a packed lunchroom and hanging out with people, and those are good.
Yeah.
Making sure this place isn't haunted.
A little worried there.
My first year teaching here was, my first year teaching overall was at Princeton Middle School, and I don't think I had your brothers in middle school, but I definitely had them once I came to the high school. Mm-hmm. But anyways, I'll talk about both of those because I remember them very well. My first year over at the middle school, I really enjoyed working with the other 2 phy ed teachers, Jesse Zimmer and Tom Hinke. I don't know what you remember about those two, but they're quite the guys. They're great people. They're good teachers, they care about kids, and they just taught me a lot about, you know, what being a teacher is. Because when you go to college and you learn how to be a teacher, they teach you a lot of things that they think you should know, but it doesn't always match the stuff that you should know or you need to know. And that's like any other job, I guess, is you learn a lot once you're actually doing what you want to be doing. So, and then my first year over here, you know, it was definitely a change of pace. My job changed because of budget cuts and a retirement. Mr. Detmer was the health teacher before I was. If you remember Mr. Detmer, or anybody watching the video remembers Mr. Detmer, he had a big impact on Princeton High School and taught here for a really long time. But anyways, I was hustling my first year over here. It was a change of pace, and I had a lot to learn and a whole new group of kids to know, including a couple of Gruba twins that were sophomores in my health class. So that was great. You know, there was a ton of planning, and I was coaching some basketball, and we went to the state tournament that year, and that was definitely the state tournament. Probably is my best memory of my first year at the high school.
Nice.
Insane stories. I don't know. One story that comes to my mind that's kind of insane, I guess, is when there was an actual fire here. Like the fire alarm went off and we all went outside like you're trained to do since kindergarten, and we all thought it was a fire drill because it never is actually a real fire. And then all of a sudden I remember, you know, the administrators, Ms. Colby and Mr. Labs, were yelling, "All the teachers, come on over here right now." And we had to huddle up, and they said, "Okay, here's what happened." And there was actually a fire inside of the school. And so you know, we had to stay evacuated for a while, and then, you know, the rest of the day, kids couldn't go back in the building because of the smoke damage. So I don't know if you were here for that or not, or if you remember that or not.
I feel like I do remember that, yeah.
It probably would have been you might have been a freshman or maybe a sophomore.
I think that was yeah.
It would have been, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I suppose.
Yeah.
So I suppose that qualifies as an insane story. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I mean, anytime an athletics team is competing at a high level, I would consider that insane, like in a good way. Like, you know, our girls soccer teams had a couple of big runs to the state tournament, and the basketball teams lately, and those are always very memorable.
Yeah.
And insane.
Insane.
I don't know. I never really did work from home. I came here every day. I'm not really a big fan of working from home. I feel like there's plenty of things to distract me here, and even more to distract me at home. So, I don't know. I did make a point to be here in the building every single day, even during distance learning, as long as I had the opportunity to do that. So, it was definitely a different pace. I'm sure everybody would say that, but there were some things I liked about the autonomy and the slower pace, but I tend to like the fast pace of education and teaching at high school, so I'm glad to be where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super lame.
Really?
No, I had a lot to learn if I think about myself as a high school student. You know, I thought, you know, the world revolved around Lake Crystal, and I didn't think that there was much outside of southern Minnesota. Or like, why would anybody want to live somewhere besides Lake Crystal, Mankato, or St. Peter, which is where I'm from, that kind of area of the state. And you know, once I went to college 30 miles away up in St. Peter, and my perspective started to grow. And then you know, I spent a little bit of time in the metro when I was student teaching, and that grew my perspective. And then I came up to Princeton, which I wouldn't have even been able to find on a map when I was in high school. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was really into sports and athletics, just kind of like I am now. But school came naturally to me. I liked the environment. I liked being around teachers. I liked being around classmates and students, and that's probably why I'm still a teacher, still going to school.
So I guess I don't even need to ask this last question, because the last question is, why did you want to become a teacher?
Yeah, I mean, it's a family profession for me too. So my grandma, my grandpa, my mom, aunts and uncles, you know, a whole bunch of teachers, and specifically health and phy ed teachers too. So that made sense, I guess. But yeah, the environment and the atmosphere and the culture that schools have is a really neat thing to be part of. And no 2 days are ever the same. No, it's not like I'm sitting at a cubicle and doing the same paperwork every single day. So I definitely appreciate that about teaching, and it's always challenging, and there's always different problems to be solved, and that's good.
Yeah, Absolutely. All right, now the final question here. So now you have gone through this process of the interview from me. So what is your advice to other teachers and staff members who will be going through this?
Advice for going through the interview process? I don't know. Be witty, try to be funny, be serious, be genuine, be authentic.
Be all the different describing words.
Let Jake Gruba make the decisions for you. He's a good executive producer.
I don't
Bring
know
out your
about
best
that.
Tiger shirt.
Bring out your best Tiger shirt. That is the best shirt we've had
Thanks.
on this interview show. I guess that's what it's called now. The interview show. Wow.
Alright, sweet.
Fantastic. Well, that's all I have. Thank
Alright,
you.
sir. Appreciate it.
Yes.
This was
thank
fun.
you. Absolutely.